What's good, everybody? It's Big Game James, man. We back in the building. Me and my guy, Mike White. You know what it is. It's Burgers and Blitzes. And we're back. And it's time to talk about some training camp. You know what I mean?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes,
How
it
you been
is.
doing? How you been doing, big dog? I know you've been hot as hell out there in Texas. Sorry for all my peoples out there in Texas land, my cousins, my sister, all y'all. I know y'all hot as hell. Last month was the hottest temperature in the world, worldwide. So
Yes, sir. It ain't no joke.
Global warming is real. Okay, so
I mean,
global
outside of that,
real.
though, everything's been pretty peachy. So
that's cool. That's cool. Well, we're
we need
gonna
to
jump
make it
right
through this
into
camp.
Yeah, definitely make it through this camp. But I'm gonna get some we're gonna get some thoughts right quick. Shout out to everybody in the building. Let me get over here. Let me get these hold on one second, see everybody. Where we at? There we go. There we go. Chat.
Coming by.
What's good, Kelvin Hicks, Rev Rebel? I gotta get Rev Rebel. You got Rev. Where you at? I gotta get you as a moderator, big dog. Hold on. There we go. All right, so my dog Rev Rebel, hey ho, T Smooth TV, Cowboys Tav. What's good? Hey, I'm in there high with you, big dog. It ain't feeling that bad for us. You're right. It's been smooth sailing for us. It's been them 80s, ain't been higher than the 90s. It's been smooth sailing for us. Let's just see how this winter goes, because the winter's been kind of easy. So let's just see how that goes. But hey, without further ado, let's talk about this training camp, because training camp's been going on about few weeks, 2 weeks?
I think a week to the day.
A week to the day, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And we hit the pads. Now it was real. So we're going to talk about football and camp. So you been keeping track of camp, big dog?
Much as I can, yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about, what's your initial thoughts of camp? We talked about before camp what you were looking at. Now the camp is here. What is your initial thoughts of when it wasn't padding and now the pads have been going on? What's your initial thoughts of training camp as a whole with the team?
Zack Martin, where are you? We need you. This offensive line's been getting their ass whipped every day. I mean, they gotta send Micah back to Texas or something so they can actually get some work done.
Yeah, definitely. That is definitely true. Micah's been wrecking it. He's on a whole different level. I think, I'm not trying to say, I said 20 sacks in jest, but, it ain't all about sacks. But I just feel like this is going to be that dominant year. Usually, I'm going to bring it back to like Dez Bryant. When I saw Dez in camp, you just knew when he was about to erupt because he was just dominating the cornerbacks. He was dominating everything in camp. He was dominating everybody. That year with DeMarco Murray and him went crazy. They both were just dominating camp. And you knew when you really just saw that in camp, didn't matter who he was going against, he was dominating. You knew he was about to have that outstanding type season that year. And I feel like Micah Parsons is in line for that. Everybody say he talks a lot, but I mean, that's his personality. That's what he does. But I definitely feel like he's going to back it up, and he's been wrecking shop in there. How do you feel about Micah Parsons, and what kind of season do you think he will actually have? Are you in agreement that he might have that special type season, sacks, tackles for loss, tackles, everything, just across the board?
Well, yeah. I mean, if he didn't tear his knee up last year, he probably walks away with Defensive Player of the Year. But he just gassed out towards the end. He was dragging that damn leg behind him in a wagon. He looked like, when Zeke tore his knee up and they said, "Oh, he ain't hurt." Like, oh man, we can all see it. We can all see it. So it's funny you mentioned Dez, because it's kind of like the same. We're going into year 3, and that's kind of when Dez, when he first came in, he had a bad conditioning issue. It's like he was too lean, and you remember he would cramp up before the game because he'd get so fucking wound up like a 9-day clock, and he would be cramping before the game even started. And it seems like Micah's getting his conditioning down. He's learning how to pace himself, and if you have a healthy year with Mauzy out there, I mean, it's going to be nuts. He's already. I mean, depending on, if Zack Martin ain't on the field, he's arguably, or Mahomes ain't there that day, he's probably the best player on the field at any given time.
For sure.
So it's incredible.
Well, let's talk. What's up, Carlos? What's up? What's up, Mel? What's up, dog? My dog Mel was at camp, and it's good to see you out there. Hopefully, I can catch you out there before. Um, so let's talk about this Zack Martin thing. I made a video about it, probably about a couple days ago, and I was basically showing who had the leverage going in. Okay, so obviously, the money situation is it's up to like 600,000, whatever, right? Went from this agent's take, and it was talking about Zack Martin didn't really have the leverage. Let me finish it. Say didn't have the financial leverage because of the situation was at hand. As far as the fines, they can take some of his signing bonus depending on how long he's out. But we still see the right guard in the line in flux, and though so Zack Martin, I feel like did it at the opportune time because I don't know if it would have been that if he would have jumped out at that much if we would have kept Connor McGovern. Now, I ain't saying Connor McGovern's all world, but if Connor McGovern still would have been there and they signed him to a smaller deal, Connor McGovern was a natural right guard, okay?
Yeah.
And if Zack Martin would have sat out, I think the Cowboys really would have been like, oh, we got Connor McGovern. We're going to roll with it. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like once he saw the Connor McGovern thing leave too, now you have a hole because Connor McGovern's not there. You got Chewy. You got who's in his place is Josh Ball right now. We know about Josh Ball. So what's your thoughts on it? I hear you say pay the man, but here's let's play some devil back and forth on this, okay? You say pay the man. Now, he got drafted high, got paid. He held out in 2018 at OTAs. Hold on. He held out in OTAs in 2018. He got paid, was the highest paid guard at the time. Now he's 32 years old. He's eighth on the list of highest paid guards. We know how it goes, man. Each year, somebody's going to be higher paid. Now, he's talking about he wants a new deal, not renegotiated, not where it's where they do the I don't know, you know,
the restructure or the kick the can down the road.
Yeah, not the restructure. He wants a new deal.
Flip it into the signing bonus, yada yada yada. I mean, new deal doesn't necessarily. I mean, you know, of all the things I'll talk about with people, I don't talk about money. You know,
I don't want to get into pockets, but
I don't. But to me, if he wants a new deal, give it to him. I mean, it doesn't have to be some monster, 5-6 year contract with 100 plus guaranteed and all that stuff because he's not going to play that much longer. Give him one of them Kirk Cousins deals. Give him 2 years fully guaranteed. Let's go on down the road because that's the hang up. He doesn't have any guaranteed money. They could literally cut him at the end of next season without any casualty whatsoever. He wants some guaranteed money. It's the same thing Stephon Diggs is dealing with up in Buffalo right now because his guarantees are up. So when they say new deal, that's a broad phrase. That's a really, really broad phrase. So could the new deal be he wants to get $100 bajillion or he just wants a couple years of guaranteed money?
So you think they should just give him like a 2-year deal of guaranteed money, just like kind of like they did like D-Law? They guaranteed his contract. He gave some money back. They guaranteed his 3-year deal, gave him 3 years guaranteed deal. Do you think that's the type of deal that they should go with a Zack Martin?
Yeah, that absolutely something like that is because it's in the best interest of everybody because he's older and the nonsense about his play slipping, dude, he's still like a top 5 player in the league. His play slipping because they moved him to right tackle and got him hurt. That's what happened. So keep him at his position, quit jacking him around, and give him a couple years, 2-3 years guaranteed money. Let's go on down the road.
Right, but didn't he play all right guard last year?
When they moved him to tackle, was it the year before they moved him to tackle and got him hurt?
Yeah, they moved him the year before. But he balked at that now, and they said, basically kept him there. You know what I'm saying? So here's the thing.
He has every right.
Right. So in your opinion, and I'm asking people in the chat, go ahead and cave. So basically you're saying Jerry should just cave and say, hey, let's just go ahead and rip up what we got, give you a 2-year little guaranteed deal, 2 or 3 year guaranteed deal. Because Jerry is saying, hey, we need this money to pay Micah. We need this money to pay or Steven. We need this money to pay CD. We need this money. So talk to me about that. Is he just talking out the air or was he talking out the wind? What's your thoughts on him saying, hey, We need to pay these guys right now, and honor your contract. We made you the highest paid. We drafted you high. I'm just coming from Jerry's perspective. We
Yeah,
paid
I mean,
you. We made you
I
the
get
highest
it,
paid. Now you want a
but
third highest paid deal?
yeah, hey, go get another one. Go find another Zack Martin. Go find one. They ain't out there. If they was out there, every team would have one. That's the way I look at it. I mean, there's not enough starting offensive linemen to go around the NFL. Some of the guys, like when we had Doug Free, and everybody, oh, Doug Free's trash. Doug Free could have started on 31 other teams, and they'd have loved to have him because that's how bad the position group is as a whole across the league. Every year, you get 10 or 15 pass rushers, and you may get 2 or 3 offensive linemen that are worth their salt. And it just that gap has grown wider as the years go by. And to the money thing, before they signed Hooker, they still had to spend $75 million to get to the minimum threshold per the CBA and what they're supposed to spend on players. There's a certain phrase there, but there's $75 million they have to spend by the next league year.
Did you freeze?
Need this money for that. I'm tired of hearing that nonsense. Let's shut up. First of all,
you froze a little bit, dog. Yeah, you're back now. Yeah, you're back.
All right, cool. Dude, it's so hot. The Wi-Fi, like the Wi-Fi, don't even want to go to work.
Probably hot Wi-Fi. Like, damn, you burning us up right here. We gonna freeze.
Yeah, so
go ahead.
They have to spend, like I said, they have to spend $75 million to get to their minimum spending threshold on players by the league year next league year. And I don't want to hear this nonsense about we have to pay who, we have to pay this. Other teams don't do that nonsense, man. They don't get out there and slander play. Oh, well, if we pay Micah, you get a cap at the end. It's not.
Is he slandering Zach?
Is he slandering Zach? No, but it's the leverage. It's when they go out there and if we can't, we got to pay Micah, we got to pay CD, we got to, no other team talks like that. Well, these other guys are the reason so-and-so can't get paid. Man, keep other players out your mouth when you're talking about contracts. It's just bad business. And stop asking Jerry questions. Please. It makes me sad. I mean, the man's, he's not right. He's been in memory care for the last half decade in the offseason. And then you get, the other day, what was it, a couple months ago, he thought Dak was going into his 5th year in the league. Man, come on. Come on now.
So how
Mike is not up for 3 years? That's not true.
So why is Stephen Jones so quiet? Because he usually has something to say on this, and why is Jerry talking on it so much then?
Mike McCarthy. That's the Mike McCarthy effect. That whole front office quiet. The only time you hear nonsense is when Jerry's rattling something off. You don't hear about these. You don't hear about. Hey, we had no idea they were about to re-sign Hooker, or they were going to go get Cooks. I mean, we knew kind of about the Cooks thing, but you see what I'm saying. You don't get this constant flow of information throughout the entire offseason that we're used to. We were just doing the pod, what was it, a month ago? It's like, dude, it's quiet.
Yeah,
quiet.
And we've been talking about the whole thing, how Mike McCarthy is fantastic. He's got these guys quiet. And in the beginning, Jerry was quiet. Now he's talking because they keep asking him questions about it. Now he's talking about it. So basically, he just needs to hush and just...
Yeah. I mean, he's an 89-year-old alcoholic, man. You put a microphone in front of his face, God knows what's going to come out of his head. Just leave him alone.
I've talked about how, his age, and I had somebody come at me, and I can't remember the name. Now, it's not a diss, but I remember I was saying, he's an 80-year-old GM, and people like, oh, don't use the age discrimination. I've never tried to use age discrimination, but I mean, that is the guy, when they talk, he's shaking now. Is he that well in the head where, you feel me, that he's talking, you know what I'm saying? I just find that hard to believe in my head. But going back and forth, I've been going back and forth on the Zack Martin thing. I'm gonna keep it real. I want him to come in, but I don't know all the logistics of it. I've just things I've read and looked at. And yes, we need Zack Martin in there because we're not confident in Josh Ball. I just looked at the unofficial depth chart, and right guard you got Josh Ball and TJ Bass.
See, and this ties back to what we're talking about. This team, now that they got Cooks, and Micah's turning another corner, and the safeties are locked, probably the best safety group in the NFL, even with Dono being out. You got a healthy LVE. You got Sam Williams supposed to come on. Healthy Michael Gallup. This is your year because this roster is not going to look remotely the same when we're doing this
And that's why
conversation
Zack Martin
this
did
time
this,
next
then,
year.
right? Is that and
That's
that's why Zack Martin did this? Is
I mean
his agent telling him that? What's going on?
my antenna went up the day before all this broke. Before it's it said he was going to hold out of camp. When I seen Zack Martin on the internet, he was retweeting stats and liking tweets. When an offensive lineman gets on the internet,
And
trouble
is
brewing.
When he had his profile picture changed to 99 on Madden, that's when it was trouble.
Yeah, I mean I see both sides of it. I really do. I mean, but people say you'll audit your contract. Well, shit happens. I mean, do you expect to make the same pay at your job 3 years when gas is $4.50 a gallon? Milk, eggs was $6 a carton, a steak's $23 a pound, versus that's a 30-40% uptick on food and on groceries and gas in the last couple of years. So
what do you think about that?
Do you not expect a cost of living raise? Do you not get your little 3%, at the annual review time or something like that? You gonna turn that down? Are you gonna? Right. I mean, let's be realistic here. It's still a job.
Yeah. Well, my guy Stephen Mack says Bobby Belt just said earlier today that Ball and Chuma have looked absolutely awful in camp. I mean, what's up, KMT? I haven't heard great things, and I just heard Jesse Holley, who I definitely respect, and he said two things. We talked about the offensive line, right? And this one person we're going to talk about right after this, and some people got on me, and I'm not going back. I haven't backed away from this for 3 years now, Mike. But Jesse Holley just said Zack Martin is getting leverage every day because his offensive line is looking bad, especially at right guard. But he said and left tackle looks bad. Now, hold on. Now, you know how long we've been talking about Tyron Smith, right? You know how long we have been talking about Tyron Smith, and when I said he's looking old, he is still old, and I didn't want him at starting at left tackle. I said this months ago that you need to keep Tyler Smith there and figure it out, and he needs to be the backup or the swing guy. And everybody's like, no, you need the best five. Now, here's what people been trying to tell me. Oh, he been going against Micah. No, he hasn't. He ain't been going against Micah every single play. And if I just heard Jesse Holley say that left tackle is not looking good, okay, number one, they got Chuma as the backup left tackle, which scares the hell out of me. And two, why would he say that if it's not just Micah Parsons, dog? I don't believe that Tyron Smith, everybody's acting. You don't think there's not going to be other guys like Parsons coming at him? What has Tyron Smith had a problem with, right? Moving, right? Speed rushers. Now, once he gets his hands on you, Mike, we know he still has that power, right? But the problem is you don't have that same kick foot speed that you had as a young player. All those surgeries on your body have caught up to you, and they say, oh, well, you're the best out there. Probably so, but we think that Tyron Smith is going to come in and have a phenomenal season. I just don't believe it because he's done had problem with speed rushers for the last 2 or 3 years. Get off and the holding penalties, things of that nature. That's what I worry about. I wanted Tyler Smith to stay at left tackle and then figure it out because that's where he's going to be great at. What's your thoughts on this? I know we talked 100 times, but we know people in here. I've been saying it, dog, and now my dog Jesse Holley confirms it again. What we been saying, bro?
I mean, he's cooked. He's been cooked since 2016. I mean, healthy or not, okay, you want to talk about money. How about the fact that when you miss, 5 or 6 games a year, how much does that average out per game? How high are you paid at left tackle when you only play 40, 50% of the season? How about that? How about the fact we've had that when we talked about it when they took Tyler? They still don't have a plan for him. They keep jacking him around in this position. They panicked when they took him. It ended up working out because he could play half decent, but they keep moving him around. You're going to keep moving him around, jacking his position up. He ain't going to go which way to put his pants on in the morning. He should have been playing left tackle since day 2 of that draft. And facts. Quit depending on Tyron Smith. What are you doing? The evidence is out there. You think he's magically going to get healthy and just magically have a 20-game season? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's frustrating because, like I said, I never wanted to move Tyler Smith from left tackle. And I'm going to keep it real. I was suspect on the pick because I didn't know nothing about Tyler Smith last year when he came out of Tulsa. And I was like, you're putting him at left tackle at the last second. Tyron Smith just went out. And like we said, it worked the hell out, right? And he was, woo. Yes, he gave up some sacks, but you saw that damn potential, the athletic ability, the feet, the strength. He got bigger this year. I feel like he has the mentality to be a great left tackle, and that's the type of left tackle you want in the same shadows of like Tyron Smith. He was like a baby Tyron Smith. And then you move him to left guard. I get it. Athletic, all that good stuff. But now it's like that's his position is left tackle. Now, yeah. And what's going to happen when Tyron Smith gets hurt? Because he going to get hurt. What you going to do?
You're going to move Tyler Smith back to left tackle on 2 days' notice.
On 2 days' notice, and then that left guard is going to be sus. And it's going to compromise the offensive line because they're trying to put them eggs in Tyron Smith once again, and he going to get hurt. That body is done, dog. So
we've been talking about it for
years. For at least 2 years. Me and you've been doing the podcast for at least 2 years. So we've been beating the dead horse about this guy, and people don't want to believe it. They keep on thinking because he still looks like he's so much in shape. You done had, I don't care who you are, you've done had that many surgeries on your body. You're not going to be optimal that guy no more.
You know who else is in shape? Sylvester Stallone. You seen him walk? He can barely move. You know what I mean?
Oh, hold on. Ram Dane says, I'm going. Y'all can play too much. Bye. Get out. Don't come back. See ya. I'm good. Don't come back. You're not hurting nobody over here.
I didn't think we were complaining.
We complaining. When we talk real things, we're complaining because certain Cowboys fans wants to hear unicorns and rainbows. Certain Cowboys fans don't want to hear reality about things, and we're not complaining. We're talking about things that people in Dallas Cowboys camp. You just heard Bobby Belt say that offensive line, Chuma and Ball look bad. We see that the offensive line hasn't had great days across the board. Kyle Humans has said it. John Machado has said it. Other people said it. So if you're crying about that, then go and don't come back. We appreciate you.
I was literally about to say Jalen Tolbert looks like he understands how to play football, so that's pretty cool.
Right.
Whatever.
Oh, what's up, my dog? Smoke one for you with the $10 holler. Appreciate for them hollers. Like he said, worry, but don't worry, Big. That's all we can do right now, bro. We have to hope and pray the O-line holds up and show up. You know what I mean? Yeah, but we're going to have to see. This preseason is going to be huge, right? Right, Mike? Preseason is going to be huge for this offensive line because we really got to see. It sounds real easy. You know, you say the offensive line. There's nothing they can do right now. And nobody on the couch is going to step in here and be better than what they currently got. They got to wait till the 72-man and 53-man roster cuts. You may get a guy on week 3 of the preseason because I know they're looking for help. But there ain't anything out there right now that ain't nothing more than a camp body. I mean, there's Josh Balls everywhere. So yeah. So, yeah, I think the waiver wire, hopefully somebody good gets, because there's going to be somebody that's pretty good that's cut, right? That's probably going to happen.
It's nature of the
It's nature of the beast.
Washington got a damn good defensive lineman for most last year.
Yeah. Oh, so don't mention that, please. Don't do that right now. Do not mention him because I want to throw up. Just
remember when I said they should have put Gallup? They should have put Gallup on the pup, and everybody argued with me and said he was going to be ready for the season. He's going to be good to go. Look at him out there at camp. He looks healthy, and then look what happened. And that's the reason they lost Ridgeway, because they didn't want to pup Gallup, or they didn't want to IR Dak, whichever one you want to do, because it's a week 1, 6-1 half a dozen the other. Because last time they IR'd Dak.
I didn't mean to cut you off. Clemente, he just said, you're saying that's big cap, there's better interior linemen than Ball and free agency. Did you listen to what he said? He said there's Josh Balls everywhere through the league. So you need somebody good. Josh Ball is basically saying Josh Ball ain't nothing. That's what he's saying. Listen to what he's talking about, dog, before you jump out there. Go ahead, Ball.
man. Hey, you know what? I want to get me a Kelsey. You know, I want to go get me a Kittle. Guess what? There's two of them.
Our guy froze. That damn Wi-Fi monster with that heat is kicking, so I think he's gonna come back in, go back out, come back in. There you go.
Oh,
You
dude.
come.
It's my wife.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so hot, man. It's just messing
It's
it
cool.
up. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You know, there's not enough to go around. Just like there's not 10 starting quarterbacks in the NFL that you actually want. You know, it's the position is just so weak. So yeah, you can go get you somebody. They say do something right now. The only thing you could do is a trade, and they're not going to trade for an offensive lineman. Not anything of substantial value when they're still going to try to figure out the Zack Martin, uh, what you call it, Zack Martin contract.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to bring in another big ticket guy at the
Right.
offensive line.
And pay
Have
money.
Have $100 million tied up in your offensive line.
Yeah, they're not gonna do that. But let's look at this question right here by Daylon Carr. What's up with you, big dog? He said, how is the new O-lineman scheme help? Is it easier for the development of the young offensive lineman? So, well, you got Brian Schottenheimer in there. Do you think that scheme of the way the offensive line, the zone blocking scheme and things of that nature will help the offensive line? Will it cover up some things?
I mean, if you can get somebody in there that can move. But I don't know why they're trying to run a zone blocking scheme when they got Tyron Smith out there with a stapled together back. That's just that's the fact of the matter. We need somebody that can move. Like if you want to do, people say, "Well, run the Shanahan offense." Well, you see their offensive linemen; the boys can move. They can they can pin and pull. They can trap. Our guys, you got to be able to move.
Yeah, definitely got to be able to move. Well, we talked about that offensive line. Let's jump in this backfield right quick because we're going to hit pretty much all the kind of areas. Let's talk about this backfield right quick. Tony Pollard looks good. He looks real healthy. Tony Pollard looks good. Let's talk about these other guys now. Right now, if you looked on the unofficial depth chart, I've been saying this, Rico Dowdell. You've heard me say it, and I've said it plenty of times before. I said, keep your eye on Rico Dowdell. He's just been injured, but he has juice. He has the size. He has the ability. He can block. He just got to stay healthy. He's unofficial, number 2 on the depth chart. And then you have number 3 is Malik Davis, then Ronald Jones, and then Deuce Vaughn. How do you think that? Talk to me about that dynamic after Tony Pollard. How do you feel about it?
Deuce Vaughn makes a team or we riot. I want him on my team.
He's making the team.
He makes a team or we riot.
He better not get cut. Deuce Vaughn better not get cut. He was one of my 4 guys on the offense that I identified that we haven't had at one time that is going to have some juice.
I'll send one of those other 2 dudes down the road for him.
I'm just saying him, Turpin, Cooks, and then, obviously Pollard. But if you let go of Deuce Vaughn, you're crazy.
No, they're not.
He's an X factor. I think he's an.
I'm playing. Barring something crazy, he's gonna make a team. I love every bit of dude. Every single clip I see online of that little dude.
I love it. I love just watching him. I love watching him. I just love watching him. I love his attitude.
He looks like he put the baby cheat on NBA Jam. He's got his big old head.
I love it. So, do you think? What kind of impact? What kind of impact do you think? What kind of impact do you think Deuce Vaughn will have?
Okay. We're gonna do the hypothetical. He's an active starter for over 10 games. Call it 10 games. Active starter. Because they're not gonna keep 3 active running backs every week. I doubt. You know what I mean? So let's call it 10 games. I don't know. Maybe about 400 yards, a couple touchdowns. Then maybe he gets something going in the return game. I'd like to, because he's got juice. It's just depending on how we can block it up. And I don't know, the balls on that kid to be on special teams in the NFL at 5'5", $145. That's right. That's something else. But try to get your hands on him. You see these dudes, they're swiping in the air, man. They can't touch him
because you can't see him. And by the time you see him, he done got 6-7 yards, right?
Yep.
I like what he brings to the table.
people want to compare him to Darren Sproles, and I did this to myself because I would have been wrong had I looked it up. Had I not looked it up first, go look at Darren Sproles' stats. If you look back, you know in your mind he had a pretty solid to impressive career. Go look at his highest totals. I think he broke 800 yards one time.
Oh, his highest total was with the Saints. I think it was 2017 or 2019. That's when he turned up, but he still had I think he was the leading rusher with 755 yards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But you think in your head that was an impressive career. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for that size.
Yeah, so that's obviously the ceiling. But the reason I say that is, how people they gas these dudes up in their head. And, if he doesn't have 1,100 yards and 10 touchdowns at the end of the year, Deuce was a disappointment, this, that, and the other. And you're talking about a UDFA free agent running back who's a 5'5", a $140. Cool the Jets a little bit on your expectations. You can be hyped for the dude, hope he does well, but don't set this lofty goal that he can't hit, and then you get all mad about it. Because fans do it every single year.
Now, this is a question from my dog, Mel Hayes. He says, on the game day, are you dressing Vaughn and Turpin? That's tough.
I'm going to hurt people's feelings, but Turpin, I don't care if he even makes the roster. I really don't.
Man, I'm sorry. I don't agree with you.
He's blind. He's blind.
I don't agree with you.
How the hell you hit the one man in open field between you and Pay Dirt as a returner?
That was last year, dog. That was last year, bro. You're using last year. This is a whole new year. First of all, he didn't even really get used. Yes, I agree with you that you should have did that. He should have cut better a couple times. But for that was last year. This year, he came into camp late, first of all, from playing the whole damn season with the USFL, whatever it was. Then he came in late, and then Kellen Moore didn't even use him. The stuff that I've seen at camp, I like Turpin. I think they need to put him at some receiver, and I think he should be on the active roster, and I think he should make it as one of the receivers on as if you're keeping 6 receivers, I think he should be one of them, in my opinion. Yes, I am solid on Turpin. Give him a chance. He's been catching a lot of passes, hasn't been dropping, and I want to see him in this offense, and they're doing that. So I'm gonna go against you on that one. I'm gonna go against you on that one.
I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying this ties back into my temper your expectations thing. And say, hey, why don't we use Turpin as a receiver? Well, the man wasn't in the NFL for a reason. And some of the best receivers of all time, Devin Hester, no matter how many times people tried to make him a wide receiver, it just never worked out. So, and he's 10 times more the pedigree.
Yeah, but Turpin is different than
you understand
Hester,
what I'm saying, though, dude?
I understand what you're saying, but Turpin, I think, is different than Hester. You knew Hester was never going to be a receiver. You knew in your brain Hester was never going to be a receiver. We all knew that. When they tried to convert him that way, it wasn't going to work. Wasn't he a defensive back at Miami? Yes, he was. He played defense. He played defense too. So you can't make that comparison. Okay?
I was just making it. I went with the greatest returner of all time and made a comparison with. There's a reason that they play the position they do, and there's a reason he wasn't in the NFL. To temper your expectations, put him at wide receiver. Fine, let him start on active game day. But once again, don't expect it to be some. I like the idea of using. I like the idea of him being used on misdirection and stuff like that, and pre-snap motion, and because it really will. A little more speed on the field is always a good thing. That's maybe me saying that I don't care if he makes a team. I'm not rooting against him, but if he doesn't, it sucks. But that's the way I look at it. I don't know, man. Give him a shot, but
give him a shot. I think you got to give him a shot because I feel like he's played well in camp, and I know camp is the barometer, but considering that he had a full time of camp now and he's looked I think he's looked impressive to me as far as juice, and his hands have been pretty well. I think he's got to get the opportunity, especially if we see preseason and he looks okay in preseason. I feel like that's going to help us with it, because if we look at our receivers right now, right? if we look at the unofficial depth chart, we know it's CD, we know it's Cooks, and we know it's Michael Gallup. Tolbert has been looking very good, very confident, very strong. Then we have after Tolbert, then you had, Simi Fehoko just dropped a bit. I know it's one pass. Well, he's dropped multiple passes, but he just had another bomb that was thrown to Dak picture perfect, and you dropped it. And I'm just like, how long can we keep on trying to wait for this? You get what I'm saying? How long can we keep waiting for that? And then you got Jalen Brooks, who's right behind him, who's a 7th-round draft pick, catching everything. He's 6'3", 205. He's catching everything. He's physical, he's strong, and his hands are strong. He's playing like that. Where do you see that receiver thing going after those three?
What about that Marino kid?
Yeah, he's in the mix too.
I saw a couple things from him. I was like, damn. I don't know the first thing about him. I don't know where he's from or anything like that. I ain't trying to pretend to know who he is.
Yeah, he came from, oh my gosh, I know it was on the West Coast. Moreno, I don't know if it was like Mexico State. I might be wrong, but I know he played on.
I don't know his stats. He looks like a bigger dude. He looks like he's their prototype. He looks like he's about 6'2", 200. He looks like a bigger dude. Yeah, Houston's not going to make the roster, and Simi Fehoko is probably not going to make the roster. He wouldn't if I was running it, and that's where you're at. So you go CD, Cooks, Gallup,
Tolbert,
and then Turpin. Turpin if you want, and then let the break and pull stick on the floor, walk out the door, and let them boys fight it out for the last spot.
I like that Brooks kid. I ain't gonna lie. I've been seeing a lot of good tape on it. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he catches everything in the air. He's putting pressure on Simi, and here's the thing, Simi, you done had enough years to really show what you've done, and you're still doing those same things. They said, oh, it's different. They said, oh, he's different. I see confidence. I see this. I see that. But I keep on seeing drop passes. keep on seeing balls dropping off the hands and dropping big passes.
And, he's starting to get close to the hurt guy moniker. I mean, he already got hurt in camp.
Yeah, he already got hurt in camp. And although it was only a couple days, he still happened. Shout out to my dog DC for Life Flex for the $5 holla. We appreciate you. Hey ho, we appreciate you for the $5 holla. You know what I'm saying? But how long we gonna wait for this? You feel me? And I tried to be positive because I already said that he was gonna be.
This ties back into being this year. We ain't got time for you to learn on the job. I've talked about that, so we ain't got time for you to learn on the job. Get right or get out. I ain't got time for it. Whoever wants to play ball, I don't give a shit what the name on the back of the jersey says. Show up and play ball. Can you play ball? Can you be dependable? Can you catch the ball when it hits you dead in your hands and not give it to a defender? I got Simi Fehoko is way at the top of my shit list right now as far as the entire team.
Yeah, I tried to be, super positive about him because I already said he wasn't making it. And I'm like, you know what? The team likes him, Dax like him. Let's see. But he's still doing those same things. And that's just what it's hard for me to say you're going to do something different when you're still doing the same things in camp. You know what I mean? And if you're doing this,
talks like a duck.
And if you're doing this in camp, the same thing, that's just what it is, right? So there you go. Now let's talk about this tight end situation. Now don't be bashing this man. Don't you bash him.
Today's a good day. Today's a good day. He got on the
field. Okay. He got on the field today. We're talking about 2nd-round draft pick tight end Luke Schoonmaker. We've been frustrated about it. He been hurt guy. You've been very adamant about the hurt guy, whatever. But he got on the field today. Caught a few passes. How do you feel about the dynamic about it? I know it's only one day, obviously, whatever. But how do you feel from right now, what you're seeing him being able to finally get on that practice field? And a lot of us didn't think he was going to be on that practice field right now.
If he's a better player, good, gave him the roster spot, but we tend to see roster spot, starting spot, should I say?
Yeah.
How they do these guys when they have something invested in them, they will see what they want to see in that guy. Mm-hmm. And I don't want that to happen. If he goes out there and balls out, you know me, dude, I will eat my crow with a ranch and a smile and say, y'all were right. I was wrong. Dumb. You're smart. But damn it, man. I just never
Don't worry about it, dog. We understand what it is.
So
it's hot. It's hell out there.
Here's the other thing. Are they going to carry 4 active tight ends?
That's gonna be tough because I've been hearing about Sean McEwen, who William Kill says they've been saying he's been looking good too, and he's from Michigan. And I like Sean McEwen for the last couple of years. I've liked McEwen. I've been wanting to see him, but then you got Fergie and then you had Henny, so you weren't gonna see a lot of McEwen. So I mean, really, this is a bad problem to have, right?
Yeah, it is, but that's also why I didn't like the pick. I'm one of the rare people. You're going to talk about, you call me, simping for him or whatever, but that's how bad the tight end position is across the league. Which, if you have a Kelsey or a Kittle, or you can go get old boy that went to New York, he's hurt all the time too, Darren Waller. That's three. I'm of the position that I thought Dallas was quite well at tight end, if not one of the better groups in the league. Oh, look at their numbers. Well, look at everybody's numbers. I thought the position was arguably the deepest on the offense. I mean, maybe running back, but we didn't have Deuce in, and everything. Dowdle's neck was the situation at that time. So why did we went and added another tight end when we had IOL problems and we have wide receiver problems? That's my issue with it. And now we have 4 tight ends. And I'm worried they're going to see what they want to see in him, and we're going to lose one of those guys who's proven he can play in the league, regardless of what level it is. Every single tight end on the roster when he showed up proved they could play in the league at some form of capacity.
Yes,
so
hit that like button. Hold on one. I didn't mean to cut you off, big dog. But
smash that good.
Like button. Smash that like button. If you're in here, we got 100 in the chat right now. Boom, and 114 in the chat right now. We appreciate everybody in the building. Mike brings everybody in here. I'm just Big Gang James. Mike brings all the damn people here. I'm just James. I ain't nobody. Mike brings all the company. I'm just cool. But hit that like button if you're here. I know it's hard to remember because I do it too, but just hit that like button. And also, so just listen, we're going to end this last thing with the tight ends.
Okay.
People talking about, I think somebody said about Henny. He been quiet, but I heard he had a good day the other day. Do we think it's going to be, I think it might be Fergie and Schoon if they try to push it. I think they might try to push those two first. And then Fergie would be, Henny's been living in the deck yard. He was every time they was back there, he was there. And I don't, quietly, I didn't make a stink about it, but I raised an eye because I didn't see a whole lot of Ferguson when they were doing these off-season workouts, with team sanctioned stuff. I didn't see it. I don't even think he went on that trip to Atlanta. So keep an eye on that one. So that's what I think. I think as it stands right now, Henny, Schoonmaker, Bootmaker, whatever, and then Fergie and McKeon. Really?
Right. I mean,
so this preseason is going to be huge for them tight ends, huh?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Huge.
It's going to be a great.
God forbid one of them gets hurt, then the team they made the decision for them.
Right. But here's the thing. If one of them did get hurt, that's a great problem to have when you got other guys that can come in there. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be very.
I know Dak loves him. Dak loves him some Henny. I know that.
I know he does because like you said, Henny was a sponge with Dak all summer. He was a sponge with Dak all summer. He wanted to get better. I told him he had the natural Aaron Hernandez ability. You get what I'm saying? He had that natural ability. The wiriness, he's tall, not lanky, but he had the basketball build. You feel me? Just athletic basketball build. Just something about him. We'll see.
At the risk of making it sound like I'm comparing him to him, I'm absolutely not. He kind of got that Carter, Shannon Sharp, freaking Tony Gonzalez build. Just the dude's stat. He's built like a brick shithouse, and he can move. So, but yeah, that's my explanation on that second round pick. I know I've been going pretty hard on it online, but it ties back to the fact that this team can't draft in the second round. And the second round picks that I actually liked, people hated. The ones that worked out, Cheeto and Connor Williams worked out for second round picks. They were more than serviceable players that started, which is typically what you're getting in the second round.
Connor Williams doing over in Miami had a career year. And
maybe we should have moved in the center when we lost Fred Beard.
Man. They tried it one or two practices and gave up on it because he had a bad snap.
That's why I was clowning. I had egg on face on that. He went to Miami and they say, "Oh, we're going to make him a center." I was like, ah! And then look what happened. I don't know if he went all pro, but he had a damn good year, dude. He had a damn good year.
He had a damn good year. And Cheeto hasn't been bad over at them Bengals, right?
No, he hasn't.
Went to a Super Bowl.
Yeah,
and he was a major part. He was a major part of it. Good for him.
Yeah, good for Cheeto. Good for Cheeto. Let's talk a little bit of this defense before we get off of here. What do you think about these three safeties locked up? Curse. Hooker just got signed up. And then you had Donovan Wilson, who got signed earlier. How do you feel about that situation?
It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? How long?
Right. How long have we been screaming about the safety position?
Man, we got three safeties and a defensive tackle.
Right.
We got three safeties and a starting one. I don't know what to do with my hands. You imagine if Byron Jones had a safety the entire time he was playing here, if they didn't play him at safety. I mean, your cornerbacks were asked to cover the entire back half of the field because we didn't have anything above replacement level. Jeff Heath, God bless him, he was a special teamer. He was forced into a role he shouldn't have been in.
And now we got probably the deepest safety unit and best safety unit in the league.
Yes, it feels good, right? Because I know you've been screaming about this because you were screaming about that dude that played with the damn Chiefs for 100 freaking years.
Juan Thornhill.
Yeah, Juan Thornhill. Remember you've been screaming about him. We need to get a safety. We need to get a safety.
Hey, you know what? It's a good thing we got Tristan Hill instead of Juan Thornhill. That really worked out.
It did, didn't it? Because we see.
I don't know ball though. So,
No, I don't agree with Malik Hooker is mid. I don't believe Malik Hooker is mid. No way. No, I don't agree with that at all. He was one of the better safeties in the league.
Do you have YouTube?
Yeah, do you?
You have YouTube? All right, do me a favor. Go type in J-Ron Curse highlights. It's about a 2-minute clip because there ain't that many. Go type in Malik Hooker college highlights, and there's a 3-hour highlight reel because that dude was an animal.
Yeah, he was. I'm glad they picked him up. Shout out to my guy Tyrone Church because he talked about this thing for like a year straight. Get Malik Hooker. Get Malik Hooker. Every show we had, he was like, get Malik Hooker. Get Malik Hooker. And I was like, I would love Malik Hooker when he was out of Ohio State, but I was like, we ain't gonna never get him. But I was like, yeah, I feel you. Let's get him. So I think he brought it. So shout out to you, Tyrone Church, because you brought Malik Hooker here and you kept him here. And thank you for what he's done. Let's talk about these cornerbacks though right now, dog. Stephen Gilmore, we love him. Trevin Diggs got his deal. Woo, we weren't here, right? Me and you weren't here when he. Okay, let's talk about that because I didn't think. I thought he was gonna franchise tag next year. All kind of drama. We're gonna get rid of him. How do you feel about that great signing of Trevin Diggs, dog?
What's the hate? That's crazy. I really thought he'd be the odd man out.
So
I really did.
We both did.
Maybe he realized it. Maybe I'm not comparing him. Maybe he pulled the Jalen. It's like, let me go get this, because they're beefing with Zach. When they were beefing with Dak and Zeke, Jalen Smith is like, hey,
y'all giving away some money? Y'all giving away some money in there? let me hold $3. And that's exactly what happened. So I mean, it's what is it? It's like the third highest paid quarterback, and there's play incentives like crazy. Deron Bland's playing slot.
Bingo, bango, pasto, fixed for you. You're welcome. And then we got Diggs, Gilmore. How long we been wanting him?
A long time.
long time. That's what seared in my head is when he was playing the Patriots. Is that second Patriots game we had him, and he got Amari Cooper on undercut that route and got it on the
that damn wet game, that wet ball game pissed me off. Yeah, that's when I was like, why can't we get him? When I saw that game, I was like, we need him.
Yeah, I want one of those things, Daddy.
We got him. And
hell yeah.
I think he's been great. He's been great for the team.
Yeah, and it's nasty work. He's literally wide receivers are talking about. They're lined up against him.
they're mid route, and he's calling what jab they're going to take and what route it is.
Well, mid play, dude. That's a nasty word, dude. That's a man. That's insane. His dedication to the game, his dedication to his body to play as long as he has at a high level. That is a damn good addition. Cannot be. That is. I mean, that's the best thing we've added to the cornerback room since Al Harris. Because Al Harris has been freaking amazing for that group.
And I love when they hired. I love when they hired Al Harrison, because people were trying to dog him when he was at Kansas City over there with the Chiefs. I was like, no, this was a great hire, and he's been great for the cornerbacks. But let's go away from those first three, because we know Gilmore, we know Diggs, and Bland has been looking super tough. But let's go to these young guys, and then we're going to talk about a few players. So Eric Scott, let's talk about him. He's been going nutty.
That's another guy I didn't know existed until I saw him. And I was like, hey, look at that.
Oh, he nice, bro. He nice. Like, I didn't know nothing about him. They had him in. They traded up. They traded back in to get into the round to get him. He's got good length. He's always around the ball. He's ultra competitive. I feel really good about him. Now, let's talk about these two players right here. Izzy, yes, for sure. But, he's had the little injury bug right now. So we know Izzy is on there, though.
They're gonna use him like they did last year. He's gonna be a corner safety.
Right.
He's gonna be a corner safety. I don't know how else to explain it. He's gonna be a corner safety.
Yeah, I agree, because he influxed that in college, and I feel like they're gonna do the same type of thing they did in college with him. Let's talk about these two players, and don't go with just talk about how you really feel it will happen. Nahshon Wright, Kelvin Joseph. Nahshon Wright has been soaking up the knowledge. He's been playing better at camp. He has good size. He looked like he's bulked up a little bit too.
Yeah, that's boundary corner number 2.
Okay.
I mean, you know what I mean. Obviously, Gilmore and Diggs are starting. That's boundary corner number 2. The other guy's probably not going to make the team.
I don't think so either.
So that's about all I got to say about him. I don't want to beat a dead horse.
Right.
I mean, because Jesus Christ, you can't open up Twitter without that dude seeing him get the belt taken to his ass by anybody lined up against him. It's been bad. So, and then, we tried to make him on special teams, and he got those crucial penalties. He couldn't even play special teams. It's like, what do you do? So,
they said he was a special teams demon, though. I mean, he did make a couple mistakes, but for overall, he wasn't that bad on special teams.
Dude, that was the most.
Your second round corner shouldn't be living on special teams. That's the whole point to me, though.
Dude, that NFL blitz move he pulled when that ball wasn't even there, and he just spears the damn return. What are you doing?
I mean, it's like he let his intrusive thoughts win. Everybody who's ever played football on punt or kick return or coverage has wanted to do that exact thing, and he just did it.
Right. Man, like I said, I don't think he makes it. I mean, you've had enough opportunities. These young guys are coming in, like Scott and them are really challenging you. I just don't know where you're really going to fit when you're still doing the same things that were going on coverage-wise. You're still doing those same things. I don't see where the improvement is. And let's continue to keep him, unless you're just because he's the second-round pick.
Yeah, and what's going to get him? What's going to get him is the attitude when approached about it, and how he responds to being coached hard, because it ain't great. So they'll put up with a bad player. We've seen them do it if you're coachable. And
well,
you're calling him Simeon the DB room, man.
I'm gonna have to put that one up. That was a good one. That was a good one, because I seen it and I was going to put it up there, but I was letting you talk. That was an all-time great one, right? He's the Simi of the DB room. If you ain't never, that is so on point. That is so on point. Great comment right there. You should get a medal or a star. You're getting a star for that one. That's a great comment. That's a great comment right there.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So
that's good stuff.
Here's the thing: if they're going to carry 4 tight ends, we're not going to carry 6 or 7 corners in every week. You can't.
Right.
You can't go 7 deep at every position.
Right.
But
what about Jay Lou? What about Jay Lou?
Man,
Have you heard any noise about him? You know, I know he's going to start on the pup because of that injury. That's a hard injury to come back from.
Don't worry. I think
that's a tough injury to come back from.
I know his contract situation and stuff, and he's one of the guys. He was one of my favorite picks of that draft. I really liked him, and I hate that he got screwed around by one of the worst the two worst DC, well, two of the worst DCs we've ever had, because we had one of the Ryan brothers here. But
no, you also had Monty Kiffin.
Oh my God, I forgot about that.
Yeah, so he's number one. Okay.
Well, the DC ended up being Sean Lee for like the last year and a half of that whole experiment. That it sucks, man. He's in a bad spot, and with his contract and starting on the pup, I wonder if we see him again.
If Blaine goes out there and balls, they're gonna forget, dude. Hell, they probably already forgot, because you see what's in front of you. And they've never really been high on him for whatever reason. I mean, even though they were high on him on the scouting reports and stuff, they just never made sure he got. You can't trade a hurt player. You got to get him healthy first.
And Lies Frank injury, that ain't a lot of teams ain't jumping on no player like that.
Not on a skill position. Hey, and here's the thing: it's the Lisa Frank fracture at a skill position player. That is a 1-year recovery. I know they're talking pup. I know they're talking this, but it's when you hear Liz Frank, think ACL. That's what you're looking at. The Tank broke his last year, but he's not a skill position player. He doesn't have to run and cut like that. That fifth metatarsal, you can look it up online if you want on your little Google machine. That little arch right there in your foot is the size of a chicken bone, and that's where every bit of the pressure goes when you're cutting and turning. So when you're like Tank wore a reinforced shoe, and he's a defensive lineman, it's a whole different process. You're not tracking downfield, chopping full speed every single rep. So the recovery time is way different. I mean, we had Deebo Samuel broke it. He wasn't right for a year and a half after that. He came back early, and then they had to take him back out because he kept getting hamstring injuries because he fought back too early. That's that's what ended Dez's career, because he didn't rehab it properly. It's a super, super tricky. It ended AJ Green's career. Zapped him. Julio Jones took 2 years off because of it, basically. It's a really, really, really tricky injury as a skill position player, and I hate it. I hate it for him, man, because he was finally getting the shot.
Right.
And I know he's got a lot of detractors. A lot of people don't like him for whatever reason. He ain't done shit to nobody to deserve a lot of the hate he gets. But he may end up on the outs. It may be the last time we see him, which is going to bum me out. But that is what it is.
I've always liked J. Lou as a person. He's always been cool with me. He had gave me 2 great interviews. We got cool and everything, and I've always liked him. But I always thought he was a better outside corner than a slot guy, and I think that's. They put him in the slot because of his size, but I still think he's outside guy, and I think he still is not the greatest in the slot. No matter what people tell me, I still feel like he's outside.
He lost the quickness he had that he was drafted. When they drafted him, if they'd put him in the slot, he would have been one of the best slot corners this team's had in a long time. But they drafted him and didn't use him, which is it's a weird bit, but they did it. I mean, we had him running jet sweeps. That's almost as stupid as making Byron Jones play box safety.
Right.
Which happened that happened in the same year. So.
I definitely have to. That's tough. Hopefully, get better, J. Lou, because we love to see you still in the Cowboys uniform.
I would love to, man. I'm pulling for him. I really am. Yeah, but if Bland goes out there and balls, man, it's going to be a tough one.
And Bland is going to go out and ball. He's looked very damn good in camp. He's going to ball.
Linebackers.
Who's
our second linebacker? Do we have one?
You talking about Damone Clark?
I mean, does he exist?
Why? He's been okay out there.
Okay. Our linebacker depth, I know it's a meaningless position, but our linebacker depth worries me, of actual players who can prove to play when you get LVE there. And I know we got Damone Clark. What is he? I haven't seen, if there's been training camp ramps, I haven't seen it. I
think he's going to be okay. What do you think about what they're doing with LVE, having him as a guy that can rush I don't think it's, in my opinion, I don't think he's rush guy. I just don't think he's a rush dude. I know Dan Quinn is trying to use him as the rusher, and I looked at it, and I said a couple years ago, can we see him on some blitzes? But he's just not that dude to me. He's not a guy that looks like he can really rush the quarterback.
No, he just hasn't. I actually was talking to a dude. I was talking about that the other week or a few days ago when LVE got ate up by Henne in the red zone. When he did that, Henne got him on that outside. LVE is one of the best covered linebackers in the league and has been. When he's healthy with a healthy neck, LVE is one of the best covered linebackers in the league. It's factual information. Argue with your mom. But he only has 13 tackle for losses and I think it's 8 quarterback hits. And
I don't think he got 3 sacks in his career.
No, it's 3.5. I was because that's what I was looking
off the top of my head.
Yeah, it was 3. It's 3.5, but he has a single once again when healthy. He has a single digit missed tackle rate. He has under 80% completion percentage, which as a linebacker is about as good as you can. I mean, it's not going to get much better than that because a lot of their shit is caught before they even have a chance to get there. It's these little option routes and stuff like that. I don't know if unless they have another plan for a cover guy, they're going to pull J-Ron up and let him, when they play that big dime or something like that, they pull him up and let him cover as a linebacker. I don't understand why you would pull LVE out of coverage to send him behind the line of scrimmage.
That's not, I don't think that's good.
No, I don't.
He's not a good rush linebacker. And
he's got 2 interceptions and he has the interception return for a touchdown.
And you've seen when his rookie year, he was all in there. Just anticipation, the anticipation for the ball, seeing the ball. We got to keep him in coverage. But let's talk about those 2 guys right there. I feel like Damone Clark's going to be okay. Devin Harper's around. They said Jabril Cox has been looking okay, been getting better as practices go. But what do you think about the Demarion Overshown? He's been he got a couple interceptions the last practice. He's been very, very active. I know he's a rookie. But do you think, because I love the pick, but I wondered how much tick and burn he would get this year. Do you think that he could step up and get in there even as a rookie and really make some plays, linebacker safety type deal with him?
I think off of pure back to the depth. I think pure to the back to the depth thing that he's got a good shot of making the active roster. You're going to have to carry 3 linebackers at a minimum. Actual linebackers, not safety or whatever not outside line. You're going to have to carry 3 linebackers. And LVE doesn't play special. He does kind of play special teams, but it's on 4th down stops and stuff like that. It's not true special teams reps because he's got I think he's in the teens for snap counts on his career, on percentage wise. So you're going to have another linebacker there that's going to play special teams. So why not make it him?
Yeah,
that's the way I see it.
And I believe he can be one of those special teams guys that can be a standout.
That'd be awesome. Because I'm curious. That's why I asked. I'm curious what's going to happen at that 2 through 4 linebacker position, and how that's all going to shake out. That's the other thing I'm looking forward to in the preseason: the tight end battle, the wide receiver 6 battle or 7, whatever you want to call it, and the linebackers.
Yes, I agree with you on all 3 fronts of that. Now, let's kind of end this with that D-line. Talk about Mozzie. We got the big game. Well, preseason game coming up this weekend. They said they're going to put strictly Mozzie to stop the run. They want to see how he stops the run. We've seen his power. What do you think about
they're playing him? I haven't seen that. They plan on playing him?
Yeah, that's what I've heard, that they want to play him and put him play him kind of like as the 0 and see how he really holds up against the run. That's what they really want to see from him. What do you feel about him? I've been hearing some good things about him in camp. Obviously he's still a rookie, still learning. What do you think about Mozzie right now?
I think it's impressive. That's a big dude. That is a big. You don't understand it till you see him in person. That's a big dude. He's built like a damn oak tree. I'm excited. It's going to help our linebackers out. If you're already, we're having a struggling linebacker situation at depth, keeping them clean, man. Look what happened to LVE last year when you kept him clean. He actually got to move when you had Hankins. You got to move him around a little bit. You keep your linebackers clean and they can get to the ball. So I'm excited to see what happens with that. I hope that he garners enough. enough respect around the league to where he's two gapping, so he's taking two guys off of Lawrence and Tank. That would be dope. That'd be real dope. That's
Will there be
there for?
Let me ask
he
you
may
this.
go 10 years.
Keep going.
No, you're good.
I was just going to say, when you're talking about this D-line, will there be any surprise cuts on this D-line from you?
Oh, Gallimore.
You think he'll be cut, or you think they'll try to trade him?
What are you going to get for him? Who's going to trade for him?
I mean, he's a big body. You never know what can happen. Some team may do it. I've seen other players with lesser get traded for. So
we traded the 7th for Jihad Ward, which, by the way, who's still in the league and apparently playing half decent now.
He is playing decent, dog. Like when he left us, he played better.
I mean, hey, I'd be upset if that wasn't the first time. If that was the first time I've heard that story. Terrence Newman left us and went to like 3 All Pros and played for another 18 years.
Yeah, for sure. So,
D. Warewick got a ring.
So you think Gallimore will be the guy, not a Chauncey Golston or anything like that?
You asked for a surprise cut. I don't. No. Golston's been tearing ass, man. And I think that's your surprise one. Because they have Hankins, they got Mazzy,
they got Bohanna. We'll see. We're gonna see.
So that would be my vote for surprise cut, and I don't think there will be a surprise. Well, I guess there may be one in the tight end. If there's going to be a surprise cut on offense, it'll be the tight end room. I guess unless people get surprised that Fehoko gets cut, which I don't know. I don't know how you could be surprised about that. It's kind of an expected situation there. Unless something drastically turns around, I think the surprise cut on the offense would be in the tight end room.
Okay. Well, you heard it first. You heard it here first. Surprise cutting the tight end. So we got a game coming up this weekend against Jacksonville, I think it's against Jacksonville. So make sure everybody, and I think I'm going to drop a video or do a video. We'll see. But I appreciate my dog Mike White jumping in this hot day. We went over an hour. We said we was going to do 30 minutes. So I appreciate you staying a little bit longer in that.
Well, I'm sweating like I'm in the booth right now.
I appreciate you staying a little bit longer. We had to get that full energy of burgers and blitzes.
Well, we missed last week. We had to make up.
Yeah, had to make for. We had a great crowd. I told you, you bring the people. I'm just James. I'm just BGJ. You bring this crowd, and I really appreciate you. Shout outs to you. If you want to check out Mike, you see his name right at the bottom. You can go check him out on Twitter. You want to donate, you see right there the PayPal, all that good stuff. Check him out on Twitter. He's a good follow on Twitter. Great deal. And we're going to continue to do this Burgers and Blitzes every Monday, and it's going to be great because once that season rolls around, we have that Sunday game. We'll be rolling right into Monday, be able to talk about it. So make sure you tune in every Monday. We're going to be going down. Some things may come up, but it's going to be consistent as far as us popping that Burgers and Blitzes all season. So make sure you're on it. Any last words, Big Dog, before you get off?
Nah, man, I appreciate everybody swinging through. Yeah, this was a good one, man. It's football's around the corner. I'm getting excited. So it's gonna be
definitely love.
It's gonna be exciting. So I got to get to my phone and check up on training camp because I basically came straight home from work, got a taco and hopped on here. So let me go check my stuff out. Appreciate y'all. Everybody stopping in. Love you, Bubba. Out.
All right. Appreciate you, dog.
Later.
All right, that's my dog Mike White for another Burgers and Blitzes. I'm about to get up off here. Hey, that's great. We need Josh Ball and those guys to step up. But I appreciate everybody who was in the chat. Make sure you smash that like button, whether you were on Facebook, whether you were on YouTube, share it across the world on Facebook. And like I said, smash that like button on YouTube. Shout out for all the donations, everybody who donated to the cause. We really appreciate you that. Smoke one for you. I can't remember the other name. There was a few other people I definitely appreciate. Loved everybody that was in the chat. We love keeping it boom. I told you Mike brings the people on that. And make sure you tune in every Monday for Burgers and Blitzes. Immediately after Sunday's games, I'm going to be going broadcasting live on Sunday games, and then Monday we'll be hitting the cleanup on Burgers and Blitzes, and then Tuesday we come with the final word, you know what I mean? And on Saturday before Sunday, we're going to have the Best of Enemies podcast with my guy, Joe Castro. He had to take care of some things. We'll be back. We had to take about a month off, but he got some things together. So I'm excited to have Best of Enemies back, and I think that'll be popping off this weekend, Saturday morning. Make sure you continue to check out those high school interviews. Had a lot of great high school interviews as of late. 3 in particular. I just had Anthony Shields from East out here. I had my guy Josiah Martin, who's a dog, who's going to Boston College, and he has pro potential. Please remember that name, Josiah Martin. He definitely has pro potential, and we're just getting excited about what we're going to do and what we have coming on. So make sure you I'm going to definitely commentate that game on Saturday, and just make sure we keep on supporting Big Game James and the Cowboys community as a whole. So without further ado, I'm out of here. Appreciate everybody who was in the chat. I love all y'all. Love you, sis. Rev Revel, everybody, KMT, everybody that was in the building, man. We had a great show today. Great crowd, great show. I love y'all, and I'll be talking to y'all soon. It's Big Game James, and I'm out. Peace.